You know who died?
Who?
You know, recently Siegfried died of Siegfried and Roy.
Siegfried of... Oh, yes, I did know that.
Siegfried.
Is Roy dead already?
Roy got...
Eaten by the tiger,
no,
right?
but he lived. But then Roy died not a little while back.
Complications from the tiger?
No.
Okay.
I don't know. No.
They're both dead.
He didn't die at the hands of the tiger, Mordecai or something like that. Yeah, but Roy Horn, but God bless. But here's what I thought was peculiar. You ready? Did you know Siegfried and Roy, if that was their first name, their last name?
I personally always thought that Siegfried and Roy weren't either one of their names. They just came up with a stage name and they said Siegfried and Roy.
Real names. They were actual life partners as well as magic partners. Did you know that?
They were in a homosexual relationship?
They were two lifelong homosexuals in a relationship together that also dealt with lions on the side.
By the way, that's insane to me. And isn't that wonderful?
Wonderful.
Like, you just get to make money and do all this great stuff. See the world with your life partner, with your husband.
It's like what we're venturing.
It's like
into
what
now.
we're doing.
Yeah,
yeah. That's like what we're doing.
Yeah, it is.
And it's kind of like
It's just a taste though. We don't have tigers and we don't have $200 million.
And we're not having sex at night.
No, but if you take just those three,
but if you go on the
there's
Patreon,
no difference between me and you.
No.
If you take no sex, take away $200 million and tigers. We're Siegfried and Roy.
We're Siegfried and Roy.
Yeah, yeah. But do you know what their names are? That is their real names. Roy is Roy Horn.
Roy Horn, regular
which
guy.
is like two single syllables. Boom, boom. It's very.
Are they American?
Roy Horn.
Are they American?
No, I think they're German.
German, and his name's Roy Horn.
Well, let me tell you about Siegfried's last name. You
What's
ready?
Siegfried's name?
This threw me for a loop, and I kind of understand why they went with their first names only.
Okay.
Bendelbaum. No, totally joke.
Oh.
Fischbacher.
Fischbacher?
Siegfried Fischbacher and Roy Horn.
Siegfried Fischbacher.
One can only imagine if they went by Horn and Fischbacher if they would have seen the same successes.
Yeah, that's one of those things when you go into the office to your new manager, go Fischbacher and Horn. What do you think?
Fischbacher and Horn, attorneys at law.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
1-800-8. No, I'm singing the 1-800 mattress. I was trying to sing Celino and Barnes, which is 888-888-888.
Yeah, which by the way, Celino
attorneys. Local injury attorneys that you guys might not know. I don't know. Maybe
Barnes died in a plane crash.
God bless.
God bless.
Shout out
and
Barnes.
I got to be honest with you. Shout out Celino and Barnes. Barnes died in a plane crash. Celino put a sign up with just Celino real quick.
Yeah, he did. He did. But what are you going to do?
That's a good point.
I mean, you got to do. I mean, it's not, we're not judging here to judge Celino and get a lawsuit slapped on us.
Yeah, that's the last thing I want to do after seeing the commercials.
So they transitioned from magic to tigers, bringing tigers around? What?
No, wait. Siegfried and Roy.
Are we talking about Celino and Barnes?
Celino and Barnes are two accident attorneys that made their living in New York that have blown up. Is that
it
what
would be a funny thing that
I'm stuck on the lion trainer.
Fischbacher and Horn.
Yeah.
they Fish Horn. One of them was dealing in lions and one was dealing in magic, and then they met. And then they combined the two. This is what I read.
They were, by the way, Siegfried and Roy discovered in Paris, who asked them to come to Vegas in 1967. And this is just thrown into the Wikipedia. They spent some time in Puerto Rico and may have purchased property there.
I mean, they're doing a deep dive.
I don't know what the point of that was, but they just wanted to tell you that Puerto Rico, of course they spent time there, and they may or may not have purchased property there. Find out on the Patreon what the answer is.
Here's what I want from our listeners. I want you to take things that we say and apply them in your life to make your life unique and special. For example, in the future, when Siegfried and Roy comes up in your life, it's going to come up.
Right.
Everyone has heard and or said the name Siegfried and Roy in their lives. In 7 years from now, you might overhear someone talking about Siegfried and Roy.
I've never heard of burrata cheese. I've heard of Siegfried and Roy.
Correct.
Yeah.
And what I want you to do is, whenever that is for you, it's a ticking time bomb for all of you. If it's in a month, in 10 years, in 20 years, when someone brings up Siegfried and Roy, I want you to go, they purchased property in Puerto Rico?
Yeah.
I want you to have that information handy, and it's factual, and I want you to say it.
Yeah. So Siegfried,
Roy wasn't born Roy. Check that out. You want to take a stab at that name?
His name was Uwe Ludwig Horn.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's you.
You Ludwig Horn.
Uwe.
Uwe. It's spelled U-W-E.
Well, there you go. Listen, they had a 2005 animated sitcom. They had a sitcom called Father of the Bride.
So you guys
like
are a
Father
lot
of the Bride.
You guys you're like more like Siegfried Fischbacher and Roy Horn than you realized.
Than I realized.
You had an animated thing about fatherhood.
I had an animated thing about fatherhood. I had they actually made it to air though in 2004. I was Chrissy Pilots.
I'm just so confused. So they, as open micers, would bring tigers around?
What do you mean open micers, Pimp? Pimp's showing his age right now. Pimp is 19 and a half. I don't know if we ever told you guys that.
Yeah.
Pimp is 19 and a half. He knows tech like a...
He doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't know.
Pimp doesn't know. Pimp thinks Siegfried and Roy right now are open mic comedians who started toying with tigers.
Are you saying that, or are you saying when they were nobody knew who they were? Were they just coming out with "We got lions"?
How do you transition?
Like, how do you get into the lion?
So what
thing?
I had heard was, and I don't want to mix them up, but I think one of them, like let's call it Fishbacher, was into magic. He met Roy. Roy was heavy into lions. He was heavy into it. And then they were like, let's combine them together. I read this in the wake of Siegfried's passing. I read an article maybe in the Times or something.
Right.
Yeah. There's still questions. I'm happy to field them.
Yeah.
I mean, just what's the logistics of bringing tigers on the road?
Yeah, it can't be. Oh, I mean,
well, they weren't really on the road. The whole show was in Las Vegas.
Well, that was after they made their. They've been on Las Vegas though, but for 30 or 40 years. I think they're worth like a couple of $1 billion.
Oh well, yeah. And then in 2003, they did the show at the Mirage, which I never got a chance to see. Did you ever see it?
The show I did not. No,
we can watch it on YouTube.
Shame.
They allegedly in October 3rd, 2003, great year.
Montecore, not Mordecai.
Montecore attacked Roy Horn. Because Horn held the microphone up to Montecore's mouth and told him to say hello to the audience, which Montecore found that offensive and responded, which lions could. If I asked you to say hello on your line, you may or may not do what Montecore did. Montecore then responded by biting Horn's sleeve. And Horn swatted tiger and barked release, and then realized quickly that this tiger doesn't know English. And then Horn ripped its arm out of the tiger's mouth, and Montecore moved to stand over him. So Montecore bit into Horn's neck and dragged him off stage.
Yeah, I know that. And I think there was footage at the time, although recently when I read the article and I searched for the footage again, sue me, I didn't find it. So they might have stripped it from the internet because the warning, it is something. It's a site.
And then here too, because obviously as we mentioned,
God bless these guys.
Siegfried and Roy were in a homosexual relationship. Montecore was no different because it says trainers got the tigers to release Horn by spraying the tiger with CO2 because that tiger was flaming. So
we now know from episode 4 of Hey Babe there can be gay animals.
They can be gay animals, and Montecore was a gay animal that could only be stopped by getting the flames out with CO2, and then that was the last resort available. But Horn's spine. He's got a severed spine, massive blood loss, and injured all. It ended his career. Montecore ended his career. Yeah. So and then he also had a stroke either before or after Montecore dragged him off stage. So I mean, this bad news.
Yeah, but he recovered, and they spent some years after that happily. And I think they retired from the show in Vegas. But anyway, shout out to Siegfried and Roy.
And here's the thing. Here's an interesting thing. Here's how you know the kid loved animals. Roy Horn said, Montecore is a great cat. Make sure no harm comes to Montecore. He actually saved my life by trying to drag me to safety after I had a stroke.
Yeah, and maybe
that's what he said.
And he knows better than us about that.
If he had the stroke.
I mean, from my point of view, I don't think that's what happened, but also he's the professional.
What came first, the chicken or the egg?
Right.
What came first, the stroke or the bite?
I mean, Horn, you think Horn, I hope Horn and Fish and Siegfried, like they had like a playful relationship. You got to think in any of their sexual escapades together in the 4 decades that they loved each other.
Right.
You think Roy made any jokes about blowing his horn and things like that? Time to get the horn section needs a tune up. Something like that. I would have. I mean, you got to be playful, right?
I'm not going to toot my own horn here, get on your knees kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
No, zero disrespect. I'm trying to get into like the real
sex role play.
No, I'm just saying, like, you have a partner. When you're playful in the throes of passion, it's always fun.
Always fun.
It makes you feel closer together. It's not just you're not just going in there and doing a job.
No,
you're still your normal selves, your normal personalities. I wonder if Horn,
right,
who's a playful fellow and then never did double entendres with his last name and blowing,
I don't see. I'd
like to believe it.
I don't see why. But then also we're assuming that they're speaking in English when they're in the throes. I mean, if they're German guys, they might be speaking in the German language having sex.
That is true.
Don't be a fake. Don't be a flake. Don't run away.